Okay, so for lesson 4, we're going to put together everything we kind of know, and we're going to work with parallel and perpendicular lines. So just as a review, we know that parallel lines have slopes, right? If we had two positive sloping parallel lines or two negative sloping parallel lines, those slopes would be equal, okay? Equal or the same. And perpendicular lines, if I drew a perpendicular line, it would be the negative reciprocal, right? Whereas this one's positive, this one would be negative, and whereas these guys are negative, a perpendicular line would have a slope that is positive. So we would say they are negative reciprocals. Okay, and that we learned in the last unit, but we kind of still need to use that information. So this first example here, it says state the slopes of lines that are parallel to and slopes of lines that are perpendicular to each linear equation. So this first linear equation is in the form of y equals mx plus b. So I do know that the slope of this line is negative 1/4. So a parallel slope would be still the same, negative 1/4, and a perpendicular slope would be positive 4/1. Okay, this next equation is in general form. This is ax plus by plus c equals 0. And this tells me nothing, okay? This tells me nothing. So this one is not very helpful. So what I want to do is I'm going to change this to y equals mx plus b form. So I've got 5y. I'm going to move over the 2x, and I'm going to move over the minus 1, okay? Those move over. So now we've got 5y equals negative 2x plus 1. Divide everything through by 5. And our new equation is y equals negative 2/5 x plus 1/5. And so a parallel slope, a line with a parallel slope would be negative 2/5. Of course, it would be the same or equal, and a perpendicular slope would be positive 5/2. Okay, the negative reciprocal. Let's look at the next example. In the next example, it says a line passes through the points P 2, 3 and Q negative 1, 7. Determine the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that is perpendicular to this line and has a y-intercept of negative 3. Yikers, that's a lot, okay? So the first thing, let's just kind of carefully figure out what they're asking. We know a line passes through these 2 points. We want the equation of a line that is perpendicular to these to PQ, okay, perpendicular to PQ, and it has a y-intercept of 3. So, and we want our equation in slope y-intercept form. So that's y equals mx plus b. And I right away know that my y-intercept is negative 3. But before I can find the appropriate slope, okay, I need to find the slope of PQ, which we know we can find by doing 7 minus 3 over negative 1 minus 2, which is 4 over negative 3. Okay, and of course, this is the slope of PQ. We want a perpendicular slope, so the perpendicular slope is positive 3/4. So that's going to go in here. We get y equals 3/4 x minus 3. So we really had to be detectives there and figure out what we were asked to find. Okay, let's try the next example together. Okay, next example, determine the equation of a line in slope point form. Sometimes I call that point slope form. Slope point form that is parallel to this line and passes through this point. So slope point form, I'm going to start with slope point form. Let's go back to here. Y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. So I have a point, don't I? We have the xy point. Okay, so I'm going to plug in what I know. I've got y minus 3. The slope is what we need, and that's x minus negative 1. Okay? And so now I need the slope, and it's parallel to this line. Well, this is general form, tells me nothing, so I'm going to change general form. 3x minus 2y minus 12 equals 0. I'm going to change that into y equals mx plus b form. Okay, because then once I know that, then I can figure out what my slope is. So I'm going to move over my 3x and move over my negative 12. and I'm left with negative 2y on my left-hand side, and then negative 3x plus 12 on the right-hand side. And when I divide everything through by negative 2, we get y is negative divided by negative. That's a positive 3 over 2x minus 2. But it's really the slope that we're looking for. And our similar slope, or the same slope, is right here. That's 3 over 2. Okay, and we want that in point slope form, so this is totally correct. I could also rewrite that and just clean it up a little. I could write it as y minus 3 is 3 over 2x plus 1, because our two negatives make a positive. If you'd like to try the next question, why don't you pause the video and give it a try, and then see if you come up with the same answer. Okay, so the first thing I did is I recognized that we want the equation in slope y-intercept form. That's y equals mx plus b form. I found the slope of AB, which is parallel, they said, so I plugged that value in, and I found the y-intercept of this equation, which was 4, and I plugged that value in, and here's our new equation. Y equals negative 5/4 x plus 4. Okay, so here's our answer right there. Okay, if you tried that one, great. If you would like to pause the video and try this one as well. Otherwise, I can guide you through this one. But if you want to pause the video, do so now. Okay, if you'd like to do it together, what we can do is, it says we want a line that is perpendicular, the equation of a line that's perpendicular to this equation and passes through this point in general form, okay? In general form. So right away, I know I've got the point 0, negative 1. This 0, negative 1, when x is 0 and y is negative 1, that's my y-intercept. So I can recognize that right away. I don't have to think about that too much, because I know if I've given one with a 0, then that's an x-intercept, or a y-intercept, but in this case x is 0. So let's find the slope of this line, 4x minus 6y minus 12 equals 0. And we want the perpendicular slope, so I'm going to move this over. We get negative 6y equals negative 4x plus 12. Divide both sides by negative 6. And we've got a positive 2/3 x minus 2. 4 over 6 reduces to 2/3. So I want the perpendicular slope. The slope here, the perpendicular slope, is going to be negative 3 over 2. Okay, I'm going to start with y equals mx plus b form, and then I'm going to have to change to general form, which is the ax plus by plus c equals 0. So if I start with y is negative 3 over 2x minus 1, I now want to get rid of that fraction. This is my y equals mx plus b form. I'm going to do that by getting rid of the fraction, times in by 2. And we've got 2y is negative 3x minus 2. These 2's cancel here. And now to change it to general form, I need to move the negative 3x over because it is negative. Everything's going to move over to the left. And we've got a positive 3x plus 2y plus 2 is equal to 0. And there we go. Okay, for the next question, it says determine the equation of a line that passes through the point negative 1, 2 and is parallel to the y-axis in general form. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a sketch. Anytime I see parallel to the y-axis or parallel to the x-axis, I'm going to draw a quick sketch. Here's my y-axis and here's my x-axis, and the point negative 1, 2 would be over here somewhere. There's my point negative 1, 2, okay? And we want a line that is parallel to the y-axis. So parallel, in fact, is going to be a vertical line, okay? And it goes through the point negative 1. So that is, of course, the equation x equals negative 1. And if I want that in general form, that means ax plus by plus c equals 0. Okay, there's no y value, but there's, of course, there's no y term, but of course we can rewrite that as x plus 1 equals 0, and that would be our general form equation. Okay, why don't you pause the video and make a sketch of this one and give it a try. Okay, so to start with, I sketched the line x equals 5, and I found the point 2, negative 7, but I want a line perpendicular to that. So perpendicular would, of course, be a horizontal line. Okay, that is now perpendicular to x equals 5, and this equation of this horizontal line would be y equals negative 7. So there's my equation, y equals negative 7, which is y plus 7 is equal to 0. In general form. Okay, let's try the last question here. It says determine the equation of a line in slope y-intercept form that passes through 3, 4 and has a slope perpendicular to this equation. Then graph the equation. So perpendicular, let's find the equation of this line. Let's find the slope of this line. We've got 3x plus 2y minus 14 equals 0. So 2y is going to equal to negative 3x plus 14. Divide everything through by 2, and we get y is negative 3 over 2x plus 7. Okay, a perpendicular slope, therefore, would be positive 2 over 3. Okay, and we want it in slope y-intercept form, but it passes through 3, 4. So I'm going to start with point slope form, and I'm going to go y minus y1 is mx minus x1, so y minus 4 is 2/3 x minus 3. To get rid of that fraction, I'm going to multiply everything through by 3. Those 3's cancel, and we get 3y minus 12 equals 2 times x minus 3. Okay, 3y minus 12 equals 2x minus 6, and of course, in slope y-intercept form, I need to isolate the 3y, so let's just back that up. I'm going to move this minus 12 over. We've got 3y is 2x minus 6 minus plus 12, rather, would be a plus 6. Divide everything through by 3, and we get y is 2/3 x plus 2. To graph that, I look at my graph. My scale is 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So my y-intercept is 2. I'm going to go up 2, right? This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm rising 2, and I'm running 3. So that's going to take me right about here, okay? Because that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I'm going to draw that line looking just like this. Okay, and there's my line y equals 2/3 x plus 2. Okay, for this assignment, I would do at least the first 6 questions. Okay, and if you want to do a little bit beyond that, but this should be a good start, okay, to begin with. Good luck, and if you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me.